Hello and welcome back to the Discover Inclusion YouTube channel. My name is Kerry and I'm the neurodivergent business owner of Discover Inclusion. Today we are going to be trying out some sensory experiments. These are great for engaging children, young people and even adults with getting their hands in something sensory, and it doesn't just have to be using hands. You can use spoons and forks and other implements so that you don't get goo on your hands. Hopefully you'll have a go at some of these at home or in school, and let me know what you think of the different ideas and which one you thought was most enjoyable. So let's get started. I found this at Asda and I've been wanting to fill it with lots of different things for a while now, so I thought this was the perfect video for that. So I'm going to be making 5 different materials, 5 different experiments, and we'll see which one we like the most. First things first, we're going to be making moon sand. So I'm going to move everything out of the way and clear a space to start. So for moon sand, you're going to need oil and flour. I've also got a spoon for mixing and I'm using an old goo pot for measuring. So all of these recipes are done in ratios. So I will be using for this 2 flour to 1/4 oil. So when I say 2 flour, 2 goo pots of flour to 1/4 of a goo pot of oil. I may have overestimated how much flour I could fit into one of these spaces. So mixing it is quite difficult. Okay, I think this is quite easy to make, but I don't enjoy some of it still being wet with oil. But I will say, to play with, it's really cool in that you can like stick it together to form something. So you could, I guess, build a bit like you do with sand on the beach. You could build a tower or a castle if you had more of it. It is quite crumbly. Once it's made, it is dry, which I appreciate, and I think it'll probably be quite easy to wash off with a bit of soap. So overall, I'm quite happy with the moon sand. I should have said that all of these recipes can also add food colouring. I have an excessive amount of food colouring, but I will be adding to my moon sand and inevitably dyeing my fingers red as I'm adding it after mixing. In comes muffin. Definitely add the food colouring beforehand. I will try and remember that in future. Next up we have got Oobleck, which is something I think a lot of people like to play with or like to bring out as a sensory experiment. So for this you will need water and cornflour, and again, I won't forget this time, some food colouring. So the ratio for this one is 1 water to 2 cornflour. I don't have enough cornflour to do 2 entire pots, so I'm going to do 1 cornflour to 1/2 water. As you can see, Oobleck is really fun to play with, and as you may know, Oobleck is a non-Newtonian fluid, so it, depending on the amount of pressure on the fluid, it can display the features of a liquid or a solid. So the more pressure that you put on it, the more solid that it feels, and then as you kind of let go and release that pressure, it becomes more liquid. I can't believe that after all of that, I forgot to add food colouring. So let's add some orange food colouring. Next up is making soap slime. So for this, you will need cornflour and soap. And then we'll try and remember our food colouring. So this is 1/4 cornflour to 2 tablespoons of soap. So this was originally written with cups in mind, so approximate measure. So this absolutely does make some kind of slime, but it really ekes me out. So I'm gonna go and wash my hands. So now that I have cleaner hands, always covered in cat hair, I'm gonna add some food colouring and then mix that in. It does look really cool, and whilst it really is not for me, I know a lot of people that would love playing with something slimy, and a lot quicker and easier to make than normal slime. That's quite a cool one. I hadn't really thought about making slime like that before, and I know that making slime involves things like contact lens solution, which is not something I keep around the house. So that one's really cool. So the last one, I know I said 5, but the one I was going to make at the end, cloud dough, uses baby lotion, which I don't have in the house. So I'm not sure why I said 5. So I will add a bonus art activity on the end of the video. So the last sensory one is using bicarbonate of soda and water to make fake snow. So the ratio for this, again using cups, is 2 1/4 cups of baking soda with 5 tablespoons of water. Now, I am not willing to use all of my baking soda to make snow, so I'm gonna try and judge this as we go and see whether we can make ourselves some snow. So a bit like the moon sand, the food colouring doesn't quite disperse as well as it would in like some of the liquidy things, so it might be an idea to mix it with the water first. This is quite cool. It does make, I guess, mini snowballs, and if you had more of it, you could definitely build a snowman. It sticks together quite well, almost better than the moon sand, and it has a really light texture, a really light consistency. This is quite fun. I should note that some of these are not edible, so just be very careful who you're using them with. For example, if you know that the child or young person or adult that you're creating a sensory experience with tends to put their hands in their mouths, or they find they really like eating like different textures, then just be aware of which sensory thing you're making. So you can definitely make moon sand, it's just flour and oil. Obviously eating a lot of it isn't going to be good for you. This bicarb and water is probably not the best one to try. Again, with the soap, just by having soap in it makes it a lot more dangerous. Oobleck, again, to an extent, you can kind of consume some of it, but it's not ideal. There's a little snowball. So just be aware, especially if you've got not just children who might have pica or picker and eat things that aren't edible, but also those who might have tics or involuntary muscle movements that or spasms that cause their hands to move towards their mouths, as some of these are not edible and should not be consumed. So I hope that this has been interesting. It will cut to the surprise art activity, which is again just 2 ingredients. Hello and welcome to my back garden. So for the next activity, we're going to be using some pieces of chalk and water. So that's it. I'm kind of hoping it's not going to rain on me, but it's quite a high probability. The first thing that I'm going to do is take the chalk and break it up as much as I can before bashing it with my rolling pin. Step, once you've got it into a powder, is to add a little bit of water. Oh, that's quite a lot of water. And mix to make your paint mixture. And once you've done that to all of your paints, you are ready for the next stage. For the next step, you will need a paving stone. This can be in your garden or on a pavement. Just be careful of passers-by, and some tape. I'm just using masking tape, and you're going to use it to make various different spaces across the paving stone. So thank you for watching this video. I hope you've enjoyed it. I hope it's been helpful. I am going to probably continue playing with this and not do any of the work I'm supposed to be doing for the rest of the day. Please do like and subscribe if you haven't already. It really helps out the channel and helps us carry on making content like this. And have a good rest of your day. Let us know how you get on with your sensory experiments down in the comments below.